In this presentation, we try to gain insights into the motion of guest molecules such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen, and hydrogen in LTA zeolite. Let's have a look at the pore landscape of the all-silica version of LTA zeolite. LTA stands for Linde type A, Linde being the name of the company that was responsible for the synthesis. Each unit cell of LTA zeolite contains 8 cages. Each cage has a volume of 743 cubic angstrom. This cage volume is intermediate in size between the cages of faujasite and DDR zeolite. The cages are connected by 8-ring windows. The window dimensions of all-silica LTA zeolite are shown here. 4.1 angstrom in this direction and 4.5 angstrom in this direction. This table provides further structural details such as the unit cell dimensions, the framework density, the pore volume, and the surface area. The framework of LTA has some degree of flexibility, and this flexibility influences the diffusivities of gas molecules. For further information on these influences, examine this publication. We performed a set of MD simulations with a variety of gas mixtures in order to gain insights into how molecules diffuse within LTA. And for further background details on the simulation methodology and diffusivities, consult these references. Let's first have a look at hydrogen-methane mixtures. Both molecules jump one at a time across the narrow windows. Since the diameter of hydrogen is significantly smaller than the diameter of methane, the diffusivity of hydrogen is significantly larger than the diffusivity of methane. Here's an animation of a mixture of CO2 and methane. CO2 is a pencil-like molecule, and therefore it jumps lengthwise across the channel, across the window from one cage to the adjacent cage. Since the cross-sectional dimension of CO2 is significantly smaller than for methane, the diffusivity of CO2 is significantly higher than for methane. For CO2 nitrogen mixtures, we note that both guests have pencil-like shapes, and both guests hop lengthwise across the windows. Note that the cross-section dimension of CO2 is smaller than for nitrogen. In industrial practice, LTA all-silica version is not used. Rather, we have cation exchange 4A and 5A zeolites that are commonly used. For 4A zeolite, we have 96 sodium cations per unit cell. and the location of these cations are shown by the blue spheres. Particularly noteworthy is the sodium cations partially block the windows, and therefore the diffusibilities of the gas molecules are significantly lowered due to the hindering caused by the presence of cations at the window sites. In 5A zeolite, we have 32 sodium cations per unit cell and 32 calcium cations per unit cell. The locations of the sodium cations are shown by the blue spheres, and the location of the calcium cations are shown by the red spheres. In this case, none of the cations is to be found in the window regions, and therefore there is no hindering of the intercage hopping of gas molecules. Here we see the motion of methane within the cages of LTA-4A zeolite. The blue spheres are the cations, and the cations are to be found in the window regions, as you can see. And due to the presence of the cations at the window region, the intercage hopping of methane is hindered significantly. Whereas in 5A zeolite, the window regions are devoid of cations, and this does not prevent the entry and crossing of the windows by methane molecules shown in green. Therefore, whether we use 4A or 5A zeolite, the diffusibilities would be significantly lowered in 4A than in 5A. This strategy can be exploited to achieve industrially important separations, and this is an example of purification of natural gas. In many natural gas reserves, we have about 10% nitrogen present. Now, the presence of nitrogen lowers its heating value, and therefore pipeline specifications for natural gas specify a maximum of 3% nitrogen. Therefore, we need to selectively remove the nitrogen from natural gas. And this separation is usually carried out in fixed beds. Now, in most adsorbents, methane is more strongly adsorbed because methane has a significantly higher polarizability than nitrogen. But if we use 4A as an adsorbent, due to the window blocking by the sodium cations, the diffusivity of nitrogen is significantly higher than the diffusivity of methane. And since the operation of such fixed beds is in a transient mode, in the early stages of transience, the crystallites of 4A zeolite are richer in nitrogen because it diffuses faster into the cages. This is illustrated in these animations where we see the motion of methane between cages and the motion of nitrogen. Due to partial window blocking, the diffusivity of nitrogen to that of methane is 25, and experimental data on the transient uptake of nitrogen and methane inside the pores of 4A zeolite are shown here. In the initial stages of the transients, this is x-axis is the square root of the time, the loading of nitrogen is significantly higher than the loading of methane. And therefore, say if we terminate the uptake process at this time interval, this will be richer in nitrogen, and methane will get rejected into the gas phase, and therefore the gas mixture exiting the fixed bed adsorber will be richer in methane, and the pores will be richer in nitrogen. So we exploit diffusion selectivity for separating nitrogen-methane mixtures. Details are available in the published literature. Let's examine nitrogen-oxygen separations. Now, nitrogen and oxygen have similar polarizabilities and magnetic susceptibilities. But in most adsorbents, nitrogen adsorbs more strongly than oxygen because its quadrupole moment is 4 times larger. So for a given mixture of nitrogen and oxygen, let's examine separations using a fixed bed of 5A and 4A. In 5A zeolite, the diffusivity ratio between oxygen and nitrogen is a factor 2 because of the smaller cross-sectional dimension of oxygen. In 4A zeolite, the windows are partially blocked, and the ratio of diffusivities of oxygen and nitrogen is significantly higher, 100. And the separation between oxygen and nitrogen is dictated by the diffusion selectivity, and oxygen is predominantly occupying the pores. With 5A zeolite, the adsorption selectivity is the dominant driving force, and the pores are more strongly loaded with nitrogen, and the products exiting a fixed bed with 5A zeolite is purified oxygen, and the products exiting a fixed bed packed with 4A zeolite is purified nitrogen. This is how we exploit the window blocking phenomena to either make purified oxygen or purified nitrogen. Both are used in industrial practice.